Welcome everyone to the third podcast from the Head in the Game. Today we're delighted to welcome Barry Ryan in for a chat, League of Ireland legend, part of the Goalkeepers Union. How are you keeping, Barry?
Not too bad now, all good this side, all good.
Good stuff, great to hear. You've had a very long and successful career, playing over 400 League of Ireland matches with clubs such as UCD, Shamrock Rovers, Dublin City, St Pat's, Galway and Limerick. I suppose we should just go right back to the start, where you grew up in your hometown of Ennis.
Yeah.
How did you find? What was your childhood like? I know it's like a predominantly GAA sort of area. How did you stumble across the football?
I was never without a soccer ball in my hand growing up. Like, I played all the sports: Gaelic, soccer, hurling. So it was either, there was no devices back then.
Yeah.
So it was either a hurley in my hand or a soccer ball in my hand every day. Like, I'd be out in the morning, be called for my dinner, come in covered in muck and dirt, and same thing the next day. Like, so after school, straight away soccer ball. It's just the way it grew up.
Sport mad.
Yeah, sport mad.
Yeah. That's great to hear. Like, it's, you know, you see young people these days and they've their head stuck in a phone, or they want to be on the PlayStation or the Xbox. But I was the same myself growing up. You just wanted a ball, or you played anything. If anything was going on the street or around your area, you were stuck into it.
That's what it was. We used to use lampposts for goals. We used to use two jumpers, whatever we could get to use a goal. It was just out playing ball. And then when Wimbledon came on, it was tennis. It was just that kind of childhood. Whatever sport was on at the time, we went for it. Like, and bikes and skateboards, all that. Like, it was outdoors all the time. Like, which was brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant to get out and about and playing. There's nothing better for a kid. Just like moving on then towards, like, when you were 19, you moved away from home and you picked up a scholarship from UCD. How did that sort of come about?
We were playing the FEI final against Home Farm, the youth final down in Shannon. And the late Dr. Tony O'Neill was down looking at a few Home Farm boys. I knew nothing about. He didn't even know I existed, I don't think. And I played pretty well. And I then went over to a tournament with the club, the Kiel Classic it was called, in England. And I was over there and I got a phone call from home saying that I'd been offered a scholarship to UCD. This was out of the blue. Like, I heard nothing before or after. It was like, what? UCD? Because me in school I wasn't really the best school goer now, to be honest. I just wanted to be out and about. So I was offered a scholarship and I got home from the tournament and it happened pretty quick. I was up to Dublin, landed in Dublin on my own, moved into the campus, and I had to just basically start spending for myself.
Yeah. And how did you find settling in, like moving away from home, not really knowing anyone?
I knew no one. I was landed in an apartment with lads. There was a lad there from North Carolina. I couldn't tell you who else was there, but it was strange. It was really strange. Spend a lot of time like in the room, and you'd be training. You get to know the lads in the team, obviously, and that helps as the years went on. But it was hard, but I stuck at it. So, and I got where I got. So it worked out well.
Yeah, you'd have successful time in UCD. I seen you picked up a couple of Player of the Year for UCD.
Yeah, a few self-accolades arise. We got to Europe as well. We went to Bulgaria, which was a crazy trip altogether. The match was a Wednesday, and we were all out in the tear on the Monday night in Bulgaria. Like, that's the way it was. Martin Moore was manager.
Yeah,
there was the lads being taken home in taxis and all. The hotel was a kip. Absolute shambles of a hotel. Like, there was mafia everywhere, and
Jesus.
It was a crazy experience, but it was a brilliant experience.
Yeah, it probably brought the team together, like bonding.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was, especially the Monday night, and anyway, because you had a great night. The drink was so cheap over there, like, so, and we all got on well together. So it was a great trip, and I think we drew over there, and we were beaten at home. I think we went out in away goals or something. So
yeah,
we stood up well, like, so.
Yeah, you just gave a good account of yourselves, and
we did, definitely, yeah.
To get the European experience, like, there's not many people in Ireland that can say they have, like, you know.
It was brilliant. I loved the European experiences. They were the best times. Going away with the team, training, going into this big stadiums, the build up, everything about it was brilliant. I just love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, then you got your move to Shamrock Rovers. Obviously, you played well on the European stages, and Shamrock Rovers like the lucky and took you on board. How'd you find moving from like a different mindset of like UCD probably looking to survive, going cup runs, then to go to a big club like Shamrock Rovers, like?
Yeah, it was a big change. There was a lot more experienced players in the dressing room, well-known League of Ireland players. Everything was set up like to win. Basically, it was completely different, like night and day. You'd not saying anything UCD, because UCD, I wouldn't be where I got only for UCD. I have a lot to owe UCD. So, but there was massive different contrasts. The support-wise as well was massive. Like everywhere you went, people started recognizing your face, taxi drivers and stuff, and the crowds at games and stuff. It was massive, like massive.
Yeah, they've a massive following, and then you're in the limelight then, and there's all sort of eyes on you, then pressure to perform and stuff like that, looking to win league titles.
Yeah, but you had to win because the fans let you know when you weren't playing well.
Yeah,
they weren't the kind of fans to hold back. Like, it doesn't matter where you are, they tell you. Like, so there was that pressure there, but that's why we played the game. You have to deal with that kind of stuff. So I think I dealt with it pretty well.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, so it's been well publicised that you picked up a substantial ban for testing positive for cocaine while at Rovers, and subsequently got sacked from it. Did you find this to be like the toughest period in your career and maybe even your life, I suppose?
Yeah, it was very hard. I only found out it was sacked in the paper on a Sunday morning. I was with up in an apartment, and I got my phone started hopping, and I was, what's all this about? And next I went down to the shops, and it was spread it over. I think it was the Sunday World, because I kind of had an inkling there was something going on.
Yeah.
With the test and that, I hadn't told my parents. I had told no one, like.
Yeah.
And then this came out in the paper, and I eventually had to cough up to the parents, tell them what happened, like.
Yeah.
Because a reporter was knocking on the door down in my hometown in Clare, and stayed outside the door. I was during my band in. I was at home, and the reporter was following me around the town and stuff like that, trying to get news and stuff. But it was a mad experience. Mad, crazy time.
Yeah, and how did you find? Like, did you find a lot of pressure on yourself then, and obviously your family, if they were outside your home looking to get the story, like, must have been serious pressure on you.
It was pressure. It was letting down the family, putting my name out there, and that bad light was the hard thing, like, because I've never been in trouble before, and I haven't been since.
Yeah.
It was just letting my parents down, basically, and my friends, and just the close family. And that was hard to deal with. And just walking around, you could kind of sense people looking at you and stuff, and there was eyes in you and stuff. But look, I made a mistake. I dealt with it. I got the punishment, so, and I moved on.
Yeah. Like, fair play to you. Like, a lesser sort of man would have just shied away from it then, and he would have just hid away. Like, but you know, you seem to come back stronger from it. So, like, that's testament to your character, I suppose. Like everyone's human. We make mistakes. It just happened to be in the spotlight, and then the pressure was on you then from the media. Like, so
exactly, like, it was completely different when I went back, like, because everywhere I went, it was following me. It's still following me around to this day, like, not as much, but back then it followed me everywhere. Everywhere I went, people were singing songs and saying this and that and the other thing. But look, I held my hands up, made a mistake, and they can say all they want, like, it doesn't bother me, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. That doesn't bother you anymore. And
no.
So you got back into the game then with Dublin City. It seemed to be a brief spell. Was it tough getting back into it then? Like, were you getting a lot of stick from the crowds or opposition players, fans?
Massive stick, fans, everyone gave it. Everyone gave me stick, like, players, fans, people in the street like, it was crazy. Everywhere I went, they used to get it, like, off the fan, the songs they sing and this and that. But look, I'm sure 99.9% of the people singing at me were doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're doing the same thing, like, and they were probably doing it when they were singing at me. So listen, it didn't bother. I kind of took it the other way.
Yeah.
I kind of
Used it as
I went along with the
motivation nearly.
banter. Like, yeah, I went along with the banter. Like, and there was a few times, right, I wanted to jump the fence.
React. Yeah.
I nearly done it a few times, but I managed to hold myself back.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't seem to, like, Dublin City sort of weren't really that successful then. You sort of moved on to Pats then. Was Johnny McDonald the manager at the time?
Johnny Mack was the manager. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you have a good relationship with Johnny Mack? It seemed like he sort of took a liking to you.
Yeah, I got on well with Johnny. To be fair, he took a chance on me, and I was on the Pats massive club. Still have a big place in my heart, St. Pat.
Yeah.
He took a liking to me, and I'm delighted he did because I love my time there.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed to be, you seem to have a very good squad. Like Johnny built a good squad there of players. Like you came close a couple of times to win the Premier Division. Just other teams pipped just to it, I suppose. But like the fan base there is very good, and they all seem to get behind the team. Like I'd say you really enjoyed your time
Yeah,
at
it was
Pats. Like,
brilliant time. The squad of players we had was phenomenal. Like, absolute phenomenal squad of players. Like Justin Doe, Keith Fahey, Matt Quigley, Jason Gavin, Joe Gamble. Like, they were not Joe Gamble. He didn't sign. He was supposed to sign, but didn't. Gary Dempsey. Like, these players are huge
yeah,
players.
yeah,
And the season then with the midterm break, we were cruising in the league, and whatever happened in the midterm break, came back and Drogheda had pipped us to the league. Like, so we just didn't perform in the second half of the season.
yeah. Some
Disappointing, but
Yeah, some of the players you mentioned there, like you can put them down as League of Ireland greats, like some of the best that ever played in League of Ireland, really. Like, so the standard of the league back then was frightening. Like some of the teams in it was super competitive, and there'd be 4 or 5 teams. Like, you had Cork, Shells, Pats, Drogheda, serious teams in it. Like, I'd say, like, week in, week out, it was a tough and demanding league to play in. Like,
yeah, it was a brilliant league. Back then, it was great times. The crowds were decent. The quality of player on majority of the teams was good. The games were good. It was exciting. No team romped home by 20 points or 25 points, 18 points, whatever it was.
yeah.
Very, very, very competitive league back then.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. You mentioned to me off camera that you had lost a family member to suicide. How did you deal with the grief and loss of a loved one like that?
Very hard. Hit me very hard. I just signed for Pats, I think.
Okay.
And Johnny Mack came down to the funeral. Hit me very hard. I lost my dad through suicide. He the last time I seen him, he was driving off in the car. That was the last time I seen him alive. Like, so, and then I had to go back to Dublin. I think I'm looking back now. I think I went back to Dublin too soon after. And then I spent a lot of time in my room in Dublin, just watching movies. I finished training, just go to my room, have dinner, go back to my room, go training. So it did hit me hard. It did hit me hard.
Yeah. Did you find you were sort of isolating yourself away from everyone, and you were trying to not deal with the grief?
Back then, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. I was kind of just concentrating on football. I don't think I dealt with it, to be honest, because I was here the night we found him. Like, so I seen everything firsthand.
Yeah.
And at where I'm sitting now, as I said to you there before we were off air, it happened literally 200 yards from where I'm sitting right now. Like, but I don't think I dealt with it at all back then. It hit me. I only started dealing with it. I'm still dealing with it to this day. I don't think I'll ever deal with it 100% ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's managing. It's me thinking how not letting it get me down and taking it out on others.
Yeah.
Which I did over the years. That's the most important thing. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough thing to deal with, and especially like your father, like someone you look up to your whole life, and you hold them up as a hero. Like, it's tough to lose someone like that.
Yeah, it is very hard. I've never seen it. I know there does be signs, but look, there's looking back now, he'd be hearing bits and bits that he was struggling and stuff, and he was drinking and stuff. But for me to see him where the position I saw him when we found him, he was 5 minutes or literally 2 yards from his car. We were out searching and stuff, and we were out in the place we found him, and we left. And I went back home, and I was going, he's out there. He's definitely out there.
Yeah.
So we got back in the car, and we went back out, and within 5 minutes, we'd been found. And we had looked in that area, like, so we just didn't look good enough, and we went back and found him. And I can close my eyes any day of the week, any time of the day, and I'm back to that spot, which is hard.
Yeah, that can be, that'll never leave you. So we're really sorry about that loss you had to suffer from.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
So you sort of slowly moved across. Then you moved across the country, sort of closer to home, and you signed with Galway at the time. Was that like intentional? Were you moving back away from Dublin to get closer to home, or how did the move come about? Really,
with my wife Deborah, now we wanted to buy a house and settle down and stuff. So I went to I think Richie Sadler was in charge at the time, and he was over all that. And I said, listen, I'd like to get a move closer to home.
Yeah.
So I think Gary Rogers came the opposite way, and I went that way. And Galway is literally only 40 minutes up the road. So I was at home, and we got a house, and we just started building our life.
Yeah. You were happy to move across and get closer to home and start setting down roots, like so.
I think I had 13 years done in Dublin. Like, I had enough of it, to be honest. I really did have enough of it.
Yeah.
I just want to be closer to home.
It's longer than most people's careers, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, I had enough of it. So.
And how did you find your time in Galway? Did you enjoy it over there?
Yeah, it was good. Nick the Greek was there. Sure, Nick Leeson. He was over us, Ryan. Sean O'Connor, another character, let's say. But it was brilliant. Like, we trained in Merview. Everything was set up for us. Wages wise, being paid was a bit difficult because some nights we had to wait for the gate receipts to come in. So, and you get an envelope after the match. So that was difficult because you didn't know if you're getting paid from one week to the other. But as I was getting older, I kind of was thinking, do I need this anymore? Do I need to be my wages and this and that? So it was enjoyable though. I met a lot of friends there. A lot of good players came through there as well. So
it seemed like you enjoyed it. You're sort of winding down, like coming to the end of your career, and you're sort of looking to enjoy it more instead of just concentrating on game by game. Like it's
exactly, the older I was getting, that was my thought process. It was like, it's a game of ball at the end of the day. It's a game of football. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. Like back when I was starting, if I made a mistake, I would think in it for a few days. It would annoy me. Like, but as I got older, more experienced, it was kind of like, it's a game of ball. I'll get up in the morning, I'll do my things, whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to next week. Like, so, and I think it stood to me thinking like that.
Yeah. When you're taking a wee bit of pressure off yourself, like goalkeeping's one of the most pressurized positions on the pitch. Like you can make 10 saves and then you make the one mistake everyone remembers you for. Like,
exactly, yeah. And especially when I was in Dublin with Rovers and Pats, if you make a mistake up there, you know about it. Like,
the fans are on your back.
Exactly, but as I said, as I got older, it was kind of, that was it. The mistake was done. I moved on.
Yeah, concentrating on the next one then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Were you still full time with Galway, or did you have to get yourself a part-time job?
No, there was no full time when I was there at Galway. So I'd get a few nixers here and there, but I wasn't full time up there at all. No.
Yeah. And then you moved on to Limerick then as your final stop.
Yeah, down to Limerick. My brother was there as well at the time. Pat Scully was the manager, and again, Pat O'Sullivan pumped a lot of money into the club. We had a very good squad for the first division. Like, we did a serious squad. We should have won it the first year, but we didn't, and then we got it the second year. So my first team medal, shall we say?
Yeah. You won the first division as your first league trophy. Was that the first team trophy you won in your career?
First team trophy. I think I could have won the Super Cup back in, God only knows, with UCD. But the League of Ireland first division was the was the only league title I won. Yeah.
And was there many celebrations when you won it, or?
To be honest, going on the only celebration I had really was going back in the bus in Longford.
No way.
There was nothing really. We went out the next day, all right. We met up and we had a few drinks, but everything was out of our own pocket. There was
That's
nothing
crazy.
laid on for us. You think after winning the league, getting back, I think it was after 15 years in the first division, there'd be a massive, but there was nothing really. We went out. The next day we met up and that was it basically. We had drinks and went home, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a damp
squib
then after.
Yeah, it was, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, you're waiting for the big party, like you
That's
see.
What you think. That's what you hear all this. Oh yeah, but I didn't experience that.
Never materialized.
No, never came about.
Yeah. You finished up then after that. Did you make your own choice to retire, or was it sort of you needed to find a new club? What happened with that?
I kind of had my mind set on retiring, and I got a phone call from Martin Russell saying, we're not renewing your contract, which I thought was a bit strange. And once I got that phone call, I go, that's it, like I'm done.
Done, yeah.
I couldn't be, the money wasn't in it either because I had a family now and a mortgage and this and that, and I wasn't getting enough money to kind of sustain. And then when the season finishes, you have to get a job, you have to borrow to go back in the door. So I had enough of it. Yeah. So I went off, got myself a job, went out to the real world.
And how did you adjust to that? Like, did you miss the dressing room basically, or playing ball itself? Yeah, I presume you continued on with maybe a junior club or something.
I signed for Tully United. They helped me get a job. Did I miss it? I didn't really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd enough. I'd nearly 20 years done, so I kind of.
You ran its course nearly.
I ran its course. I was kind of sick of football at that level. I just wanted to go back and start enjoying it again.
Yeah.
So I came back to the Clare League and I played a few seasons. I played one with Tulla, and I won 2 Oscar trainers actually with Clare back 3 years ago. And I enjoyed my football most, to be honest. It was just with the lads and just no pressure.
Yeah, having the crack and not having to
crack, yeah, exactly,
look around for wages, hoping they were coming in.
Exactly, my wages was there every week from work, so I was happy out.
Yeah, finally, have you stayed involved? Like, obviously with the pandemic, everything sort of shut down. But did you sort of stay involved in the game? Are you involved with any coaching or?
Yeah, I do a bit of coaching, one-on-ones and stuff. I was involved in a few development squads a few years ago before the pandemic kicked in, and kind of joined up now with a couple of others as we took over Lifford. They're a team here in Clare. So we're kind of managing them at the minute, but the pandemic, of course, put everything that we just basically taken over and this thing hit. So we've been trying the first lockdown, we were giving them programs and stuff to do, but then they're Sunday league players, like they just want. Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see now when we get back at it again.
Yeah, I'd say like everyone else, you're sort of itching to get back now with everything
just
that's going on.
Yeah, meet the lads again and just get a bit of crack going and get them playing and just get that buzz back again.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so we really appreciate you coming on to chat, and hopefully one or two people will look at it and draw comparisons about sort of some of the stuff you talked around grief and stuff like that. So
yeah, just talk about it. Just reach out. Don't hold it in, because that's what I did. Yeah. Just there's always someone there. If they want my number, I'll give them my number. Like there's plenty of people out there to talk to. Do not hold it in.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what I did, and it did affect me. Like, so just speak out. Don't be ashamed of it.
Yeah, they can get you on Twitter as well, can they?
Yeah, whatever they want. If they want, I'll DM me whatever they want. I'll speak to them, no problem.
Yeah, that's very kind and generous of you, and to help people out like that. So fair play, and
look,
thanks very much.
If we can help, no problem. If we can help one person, 2 people, it doesn't matter. Look, we're all there's people out there to help.
Yeah, we were sort of saying the same with the Head in the Game campaign. We were sort of saying if it helps one person, we've been successful. Like we're just sort of bridging the gap. If we can talk to somebody, even just to take the load off their shoulders, or and then we can guide them on. If they need professional help, then we can guide them on. We've partnered up with 2 charities, Shine and Jigsaw, so we just sort of felt we needed somewhere that could bridge a gap in between the two. So, but like you said, you're available to have a chat, and I'm sure there's loads of different League of Ireland fans around the country that only love to have a chat with you. So, thanks very much for that.
That's no problem at all. No problem.
Thanks very much for your time, Barry.
No panic.
No worries. Thanks.
Nice to talk to you. Cheers, bud. Thank you very much.